Hello, it's Kylego number 32 with Rita and Scott. So we're having a conversation. So again, we like these. So it's been quite a while since we started. We've let's say I've just come back. I decided to come back again, even though I live in Iowa now. I decided to come back again for that Mankato tennis tournament, and so just because I gained lots of lessons about tennis that come into my life. It's kind of fun. And so I'm just coming back from the last tennis tournament. So I've kind of like realized people, I don't know if you recognize this in me and Rita. It's just people always like tell me, you've really got kind of this mysterious tactic, don't you? So that's what a comment somebody gave me. I don't know if you, so it just kind of sat with me weirdly, and I don't know if you can give any insights to that, why I might have gotten that comment of like, you've got this mystery tactic and I can't quite figure it out. Like you're right at the net and then somebody's back and then you back off and then I just don't know what's going on. So
Yeah.
tell me,
Well,
I don't know if you've seen that in me. It's just,
yes, I feel like I have a little bit of an insider view of what's happening, and um, I don't feel like I have to tell everybody about it because it's a mysterious tactic, and it's good. And if people want to understand it, they have the full ability. We all have the full ability to just observe, take note, maybe do a little experiment and see what the results are and see if you gain knowledge from that experiment. And so if people notice that there's something mysterious going on with Scott or with me, all they have to do is ask a question, observe, and um, it might take a little time, might take a little effort, might even make them slightly uncomfortable here and there, but we all have the ability to move through that and learn from it. So if I just spell it out, it's almost the mystery's gone, the effectiveness is gone, and nobody learns anything.
I will go with that. That's what I'm going to use next year at the tennis tournament. So, no, I think like last year you and I got like really, we got really comfortable with this idea of uncomfortability. And so like last year I remember we had a conversation just of, people don't understand how it's totally okay to be uncomfortable and how it's totally incredible data to have to be uncomfortable and to kind of sit in the uncomfortable space and to just realize it and to be there and not have to reach for the next thing to make them comfortable again, make them comfortable again, make them comfortable again. So
Yeah, what a treadmill. What an exhausting way to live. I mean, except that I see it all around me. I'm uncomfortable. Give me a pill. I'm uncomfortable. Do something for me. You out there, do something. Coach, doctor, healer, somebody do something for me. And what if you just as you were saying, what if you just notice what it's telling you? And yeah, not only is being comfortable okay, but it's become just so valuable. And moving through it means that the discomfort, especially distress, I never feel distressed anymore. I mean, I still live in this world, look at all the distress around me, but I don't have to feel distressed anymore. It's when discomfort comes up, I know that it's bringing information, just as you were saying, it's great data. And every time you have new information, you can build on it. And it's like building a staircase out of the distress. Each time you go through another level of discomfort and learn from it, more peace is up here on the next step. Do you find that?
Yeah, I do, but I find that my role, and I started doing this last year, my role is kind of just to, if people, like in text conversations, like my role, I just started learning this last year, and I realized, it didn't necessarily win me friends quickly, but I realized that I needed to, how we're so used to like saying, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, or let's get you back on track or whatever. I just started validating it. It's like, oh, I like saying something like, yeah, I just had surgery and it was like really, really annoying, and I feel like crap. And I just said, I think I remember saying to one friend, and you volunteered. That's all I had to say. And it was like I was keeping him a little bit in that uncomfortability so that he could just sort of talk about it more, rather than me sort of saying, oh, I'm sorry, why don't you take this, or I find that this is the best thing, or that was advice giving. And probably it's just like my tennis game. It's like, oh, I hit up a lob that was really weak, and so I smacked it back. So point done, kind of like that. So it was so not necessarily it's this coercion thing. Maybe that's a secret I shouldn't talk about. But I realized too that like I wasn't doing anybody any good by like trying to get rid of their discomfort. I wasn't doing anyone any good. When I realized that like people needed to stay in their discomfort for a little while longer, and that was like valuable, that was just, how are you going to know to be in your feelings 100% of the time if you're not even going to be willing to be with that feeling of uncomfortability? You're going to doubt uncomfortability. You're going to reach for something. You're going to fall in love, and you're going to reach for something because that you're not trusting that. You're going to be excited or want to go for a dream, and you're not comfortable with that because you aren't comfortable with a feeling. And so you're like, oh my gosh. And, all these feelings kind of feel the same: uncomfortability, love, courageousness. It's all that kind of dopamine rush that goes into our head. And if I were to, yeah.
And how am I ever going to know you if you can't feel your own feelings? How will I know who you are? And if I can't feel my feelings, you'll never know me. And so relationships, what are they? Just two people rubbing up against their own discomfort. That doesn't sound very enjoyable.
No, it doesn't sound very fun. It doesn't, but it's, yeah, and it's kind of peaceful. You're like, oh, that's a feeling. Oh, that's new. I've kind of like, yeah, I feel uncomfortable about this situation. And then you can just sort of like let it happen.
And I've found, especially working with you, is that when we come up to this new place of discomfort, usually something happens to one of us or both of us, or just something gets in the way in one way or another. Maybe it's just discomfort, but maybe it's a situation. And we've learned to just go, all right, this means we are on to something, and we got to move through this, and because the world needs it.
Yeah, and I look back to that time where, and this happens all the time, so I'm not even worried about it. I look back to the time where like lots of people dropped off of our community all at once, really boom, 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 and I could have, we could have said, well, that's it, and really quit ultimately. But then it's just like, okay, to like just sort of like be in that little space and like say, well, I'm a little uncomfortable with that, but at the same time, let's just let the universe step in. And
it told us that our previous Kylego was so right on that it scared people away.
it did, and I've been told throughout the years that I do have kind of a clearing energy. And so I think we did kind of use that, that I do have this clearing energy, but I think when, I just started realizing, well, this is the most basic thing. And I wish everybody the best is like, they're not really your tribe. They're not yet where you are speaking, and it's okay. Do you let people flow down the river of their life, and just by this important work, and I don't expect very many people to get it, so it's
But
okay.
the amazing thing that came out of that was that we became the clearers for companies, for organizations. They would invite us to just be us, do our thing, talk about quitting, generate this covert discomfort that's not, there's nothing malicious about it. It's just offering some truth. And that would just, like, people would start quitting, and the company, the hirers of us would just go, oh, thank you. We didn't want to fire that person, but this is perfect. They left, they found a better job that better suited them. And that was just completely something we never saw coming.
Yeah, I kind of felt like the cosmic Ray Donovan, if you've ever watched that.
Yeah. But way nicer.
But way nicer, yeah. But he's still as conflicted as anyone else, living in his feelings.
Yeah.
I just kind of felt like this cosmic fixer kind of person, and not in an egoic way, but it was just this cosmic fixing, just by actually like allowing people to feel their feelings and allowing those things to happen, and working on with the secrets that we do covertly in the mystery. And
We just need a Boston accent.
we need a Boston accent, and without baseball bats and without all of that.
Definitely.
So, but it was just, and also like the things that really happened was the really good employees became even better. The really good folks in those companies that we worked with, the 3 companies we worked with, the really good folks became better, and they became like these quiet centers for being a really good leader. They weren't afraid anymore of how they felt uncomfortable, and they gave like their bosses that uncomfortable information. And then their team started talking about, well, I'm noticing. They didn't start saying, I feel this. They said, I'm noticing a little uncomfortable feeling in me. I'm noticing that happen right now. Is anybody else noticing a little discomfort from this plan? And then they would talk about it, and it wasn't like it was a personal thing. It became data. It became.
And everybody else had permission to say, yeah, that I can see the part that's not working, where the first person just is able to say discomfort. The other person has the permission to actually speak up and say what they see. Where did that go in business?
Yeah, and then it made like situations like we got an email back saying, I had like the first team meeting where everybody had a hell yeah. Like we had an idea, and like everybody immediately had this hell yeah, heck yeah kind of feeling, because they felt it and they understood, and they didn't have to think about it right then. And it was like, I'm noticing kind of this excited feeling. So they noticed the good ones. And so this are like, and this one manager is like telling us like, if I can get one of these a year, I'm really happy. If I can get one of these a month, think of what I'm going to do. Think of what we'll do for our company, what we can do to change the world with what we're doing. So,
well, this is changing the way business schools are teaching their students. You had to be an extrovert. You had to be socially engaged at all times, or you were not going to pass like Harvard Business School. And they're finally starting to notice that the quiet person, the center, the person who can be the hub to all of these action people is the valuable part, or one of the valuable parts. The action people are valuable, but keeping the strength of the organization is not their talent.
It's their intangible secret weapon.
Right.
For lack of a better word, like I'm using one of those terms in business, the intangible secret weapon. I would probably not use that term just in my life, just weapon. It's just kind of interesting. Unless I'm on the tennis court. But it's that intangible, covert, mysterious force that, that just gives them a little more of an edge. Like they're working behind the scenes. They're working in this parallel realm. They're working on the edges of employee, of thought, and of their own innovation and their own change. It's like these folks know how to navigate that without bursting the bubbles, I guess. They know how to navigate feelings, and they know how to just absorb and leave things. It is, and like even as I talk about it, it's that intangible. And so that was a big thing, is like identifying your intangible assets, or who's your most mysterious, most feeling, most quiet, most introvert, brilliant person. And more leaders started putting those folks in like those hubs of conversation, and they started telling us, when I put that person in the middle of the room to sort of lead but yet not lead a conversation, there is magic that happens that I had no idea would ever come out, just because they were there.
Right.
And so we're starting to see over the years now that this whole idea of getting quiet as a thing has really transformed a lot of places. Of like, there's now like meditation rooms in like 5 businesses in my little town. Who does that? And I didn't even try to do that. It was one of those things where I just held space, and maybe I just dropped some seeds here and there, and maybe just covertly some folks have been affected. And
then we discovered that it's actually more than 15% of the population is highly sensitive. It's just that that extra percentage learned how to pretend they weren't in order to cope in this extroverted action world. And so we're finding that more people are thriving in their business positions by having quiet, and the productivity goes up, and the profits go up, and the wages are actually going up finally for people, because there's just more peace in the corporate world.
And the fulfillment is going up. And then finally, like, and I had to do this years ago too, and like put this in practice in my own business. The fulfillment goes up when you really finally realize who you are. Me as a real introvert, who people think I'm more of an extrovert, but I'm a real introvert, and I have extroverted moments. I have to like do that. But like allowing that just shows people that, wow, how fulfilling to just be yourself, to really build that into your business and saying, I set aside this time for meditation, and I actually teach everybody who comes in, who wants to. It's a free thing, how to meditate. You can like sign up for like a little drip feed email thing. It's totally free. It's like Scott's little guide for solo business meditation. And, it was just like as a gift, but like, what a great way to like just be yourself. And people have realized that like I can be myself and I can be fulfilled, and that helps like them make more money. It helps them to take on tasks that they love, and to like show up just in other parts of their life, show up for their family, show up for their loved ones, their pets, their home, their hobbies. So
right. Yeah. And how long has that been a phrase? Just be yourself. Just be yourself and fit into the world, but be yourself. But now they're seeing, especially from you, I'm a little more in the background. but especially from you, they're seeing what being yourself actually looks like, and the ways to be yourself out in the world, even if you don't necessarily fit in how the world says you should be.
Yeah, and there's always like carry that little bit of mystery. So be yourself too. You can carry yourself in the world, but also carry something for yourself. And it's okay to carry a little bit of mystery for you. You know, like those little, you know, step into your intangible, step into that mystery, step into those secretive things that you get into. And whether it's your dream, you dream about being a covert agent like I do sometimes, or you go into a job and like, you know, we call ourselves coaches or artists or whatever, but really we can step in and like be the cosmic Ray Donovan fixers. So and keep some of those secret things for yourself, and don't necessarily you don't have to share everything out. So that's the beauty of being introverted, is that you create mystery, and when you create mystery, actually people want a part of it. They're like, there's something going on there, and they just, it's like this instant attraction. It's really interesting. It's really weird. I had to learn that. But really all I do is I feed myself, and I like kind of keep it to myself. And I realize when something's very, very powerful that I'm keeping for myself, because people start asking me questions. What's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. Oh, nothing. I'm just doing this and doing my thing. And
Myself.
it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
So, and then just, you know, when people are really ready, they're like, no, really, you have to, you know, I am dying to know.
Right.
You know, then maybe it's time. So, and just say, okay, well, let's walk over to this other dimension for a little bit.
Give a clue.
Yeah, give a little clue, a little seed. Just say, okay, I want you to watch this video about alien abduction and tell me what you think. And just see if that scares them away, or they're like, you know, I watched that and I don't really think that's really what you wanted me to do. And I'm like, oh, well, I just wanted to see if you were going to run away with that crazy thing. I did that once. I don't recommend it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's I think we've learned to be light. I think that's a really good thing. Like and just now that I've come back again from that tournament, it's just I'm really thankful that we've kind of learned a lightness about this too, and it's not heavy, and it's not heavy woo woo. It's light woo woo, and it's maybe a little, because it's lighter, it's a little more infectious, so it's a little more mysterious, and it's a little more creative, and we don't have to like worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found that? Just, we don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, what's to worry about? I don't know. If people want to learn, by all means, the door's open. If they and not even learning, it's follow the clues.
Yeah, it's see what happens for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's a better way to say it.
It's play. It's an experiment. None of us knows what's going to happen, and that's the beauty. And you know, we're going to feel uncomfortable, and we're going to collect all that data for ourselves. So,
right. Because like believe me, we are mysterious to ourselves as well. we don't know where it's going from one day to the next.
Oh my gosh, all I have to do is take a nap and dream about something, and I'm like, what the heck is this about, and what is my subconscious really? So, yeah. So, and that's good. It's mystery.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We're just doing what we're being told, guided to be doing.
Yeah, it's just a little natural thing for us, I guess. You know, a little bit of I'm a little cantankerous, radical guy who smashes some balls back at the net, and Rita's the
backcourt girl.
The backcourt girl at the baseline, who gets fed a lot more stuff, but then she delivers the long ball winners that just zing past people that they're not expecting, and they're like, wow, I should have just hit it to Scott and like hit it. right back at me because now I have to think about really what Rita's fed me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think that probably sums it up.
Yeah, I think so. Good.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.